This kit has changed my perspective on building model kits forever. The amount of joy I had building the Real Grade 2.0 cannot be put into words. This kit just is hand candy. The definition of hand candy. Pick it up, nothing really falls off. Super fun to pose. It is just probably already a top contender for my favorite kit that I built in 2025, and it's not even February. Welcome to the UVerticals channel. My name is Grant. Let's get right into the review. Right here we have the Real Grade 2.0. This kit was released in 2024, pretty late in the year, and I found this kit at Barnes & Noble's for like $38. So it's getting everywhere. This kit is amazing. It is fantastic because the older Real Grades use that old MS joint system that were movable parts right out of the runner. Super duper cool. Like, it's a miracle that we even have those. It's absolutely mind-boggling the amount of time and the resources, machines that go into making stuff like that. However, they just weren't really reliable. This kit really is like 3 stages when you build any part. The first part, you're just building the MS joint. That's exactly what you're doing. You're building that old MS joint out of like regular plastic that they always use. No polycaps in this build, of course. It's a Real Grade. And then you add on like some of the extra bits, and then you add on the armor. It's just really fascinating that we went from just having one of those to just building the MS joint system. And this kit is immaculate. It is so cool. It is a mechanical, like, pocket candy. This kit is so fun to mess around with. I used almost all of the stickers. Like, this kit is completely like stickered up front to back. I put a lot of time into this kit. It also comes with these super duper chrome stickers, and the eyes are gold. I love when the RX-78's eyes are gold. Like, a lot of the high grades do yellow. The 3.0 did clear because of the LED lights. Weird. But I love it when they're gold. And both this and the previous Real Grade of this had gold eyes, and it just shines. It is amazing. There's just so much to love about a kit like this. It completely changed my mind about Real Grades. I was like, I'm not going to do Real Grades. Built this kit, and I want to get the high new Real Grade, the Zaza B Real Grade. I want to get so many. I know this is a pretty long intro, but there's just a lot to talk about with the build, the design, and almost everything that I just love about this kit. Let's get into the articulation. Articulation is very, very well. The head is on a swivel, and also it can go up on a joint so it can look down and look up. It has a lot of head and expressibility, and you also get it looking like this. It just kind of looks funny, but it's not supposed to be like that. The shoulders are on, of course, 360 rotation. You can move them out pretty far, and they can also go up extremely far. You also have a bicep swivel. You have a very, very good elbow bend, and you also have some movement in the wrist, kind of like the Beyond Global high grade. And you also have just inner ball joints at the wrists. The waist is a little bit restricted because of that core fighter, but you do have access to look at that core fighter. You pretty much just, oh boy, it's not working with me right now. Okay, I got it. Let's move this part up. It makes it so much easier. Got open enough to see the core fighter in there. If it'll focus, barely see it. I'll take that out to show a little bit more. That is super cool. And then you have hip skirts. All of the hip skirts are on pretty much just some form of a ball joint, so you can get a lot of movement out. If you move these up, you can get a pretty solid kick. And we'll just actually move all these out of the way the most we can. Legs can go pretty far, and then side to side they can go extremely far. However, I have noticed that these white panels do like to fall out if you stretch the legs too far enough. They're never going to fall out on their own, which is really nice. The knee bend is extremely cool. Watch all of these panels just separate. That is nice. That is very nice. Also do have a thigh rotation. It can go pretty much all the way, everything you want it to. That's pretty nice. And the feet have a lot going on. Pivot, forward, and a little bit of a back, not too much. And then the feet are pretty much all articulated. So they have all independent movement. A lot of articulation on this guy. It is extremely just super duper fun to pose around. Like I built this kit and I just could not get my hands off it. It was super duper fun to pose around. Let's get into the accessories. This is everything that the Real Grade 2.0 comes with. Starting off, we have the Core Fighter. This thing is super duper tiny. It does come with the optional landing gear. I did not use that, as this will always be staying inside of the mobile suit. And it does have a transformation. There is no like gray core block or anything. You just have the Core Fighter. And that is super cool. This is, they figured it out how to make this work with all the articulation. So pretty much you just fold up the wings, push in the cockpit, and then you just kind of slide everything together and it will form a super duper solid core block. And to put it in there, you got the bottom of the legs, and then you just kind of shove it in there, just like that. And in order for this to work, there's a couple points on the torso. There is this gray piece that'll have to slide into that gray piece right there. So you just kind of slide it down, peg that in, and then you are going to want to close that up. So that is the Core Fighter inside of there. Super cool that they're able to do that. It still does provide some up and downs. It does restrict it just a little bit, but honestly, it's cooler that they were actually able to make this work pretty well and that they just have to include like a gray core block. That's really, really nice. So for the hands, you get two completely closed-fisted hands. These are just two pieces. These are really, really nice for just some stationary poses. I usually are kind of mixed on just regular fisted hands, but I'm honestly pretty okay with these. These do get some pretty cool poses if you just want the mobile suit standing there. You also have two open hands. They're not like super duper expressive. They're just pretty standard open hands. Usually you put these like around the bazooka if you have like one hand holding it and the other hand just covering it. These are pretty nice to have. And then you have two just holding hands. You also have a trigger finger hand, but there's no real reason to take it off the gun because these hands are very, very weird. You probably know that. It's really strange. So to take off the back of the hands, and then it's pretty much like a sliding system. You almost have to like pull it apart because there's this little notch in here that goes to the hole, and then you put it in there, and then you slide it back. It is extremely interesting and new. I don't really know how to feel about it, but some of those hands where you like have the hand and then the palm and then the whole thumb and like the end of the fingers are a little bit loose, so I've not had any issues and they hold stuff extremely tightly. So go all for it. If these are the new hands, I would not be against it. Next up, we have the beam rifle. This one is super cool. It does have a couple stickers. I only put the one right there, but you do have all the nice adjustable things that you like. And of course, you have the trigger finger hand that goes with it. This is pretty much just made out of a darker gray and then a just standard gray plastic. And of course, the lens is also color separated. And it fits super duper snug into the mobile suit's wrist. I've had no issues with this weapon at all, and it's super duper cool. I do like whenever they make the beam rifle have some white on it, but I also don't mind the completely gray. It is more accurate, and this is pretty much just the perfect grade unleashed, so I kind of get why they wouldn't want to change too much stuff up. Just personal preference, I do like a little bit white on the beam rifle. Next up is the shield. The shield is super duper cool. You can actually hold the beam rifle and both the beam sabers in there. Those are the spots for the beam sabers. I don't really know where you would put the beam rifle, but there is a spot in there for it in the manual. There is a lot on this mobile suit. Something out here comes out. Just got to figure out what. So this top part comes out, has a little bit of a peg that you can stick into the backpack. You also do have the arm brace, and then you have the handle for the arm right there. This is super duper nice, comes with a lot of cool decals. There's some white ones. There's, of course, the white base ESF and the RX-78-2 logo, and this is a very, very nice shield. Not much to say about it. It is just the standard shield, but it is very, very nice. And to stick it into the hand, I usually do start with the handle. You just kind of stick it in the hand. It's a little bit tricky. That's because it's so far away from me, but get it in no problem. And then there is some spots on the back of the arm, and it just tabs in, and it fits extremely nice. The shield is very, very nice. It honestly doesn't even need it completely. The handle does it. Like, I have had this arm, I haven't put it on correctly, so it becomes unattached, and the handle still holds it up. This is a little bit tricky to get in the back, but honestly, once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to put in, and it stays in once you have it in correctly. So next up, we have the bazooka. It is just in white and the gray plastic. It's a hard time focusing because look at my hand behind it. It's super, super nice. The missiles inside of it are white. I think that means explosives. Red usually means some kind of, I think it's napalm. I don't know for sure. But it does have the adjustable handle with the hand already on there, and it is a pretty clean build, honestly. This gray piece up here and the back of the piece are just all one piece. That is very impressive. It's a pretty, just the standard one. You can plug it into the arm super duper easily. You just have to actually get it where it has nice clearance. Boom, there we go. It's hard because I'm doing it like a foot away from me, but it holds it extremely nice and snug. However, you do the backpack on with the beam sabers, it does get in the way just a little bit. So usually when I display it with the bazooka, I take out whichever side the bazooka's on the beam saber, I just take it out. Next up, we have the beam sabers. The saber effect actually doesn't hold in there that well. It's a little bit looser, but that's all right. These are just this, standard beam sabers. They're all one piece, so that's really nice. Not the biggest fan when they're two pieces. Sometimes, especially if the beam, the pegs that go into the sabers are a little bit too thick, they pop out. It's all one piece, which is super duper nice. And you can just put it into the hand like so, and it holds it extremely well. These are extremely nice beam sabers, probably some of the best beam sabers I've seen on like any kit, so I really do appreciate that. Next up, we have the backpack. The backpack is just the standard backpack, has the standard connector, and it is all gray. I would like a little bit white on it, but that's a personal preference. You do have the option of putting in the beam sabers, and they are on a hinge. They can go, it's pretty much just go like this, and then you can actually pop them out. But it's pretty much just so you can move them forward to have the mobile suits, grab them. It also does have a peg hole right there for an action base or anything else you want to peg into there, and it just fits in super duper snug. Bam. Just like that. You do have a couple gimmicks. We're going to attach the shield to the back. If you want to, there is a little bit of a hole right there that goes into the lighter gray parts on the backpack. And it fits in extremely snug, and it looks pretty nice. It can't rotate or anything, but it is there. Rotation's not the biggest deal. I'm honestly going to have it displayed with the shield at all times, but at least you can display it on the back. And on the rear of the mobile suit, you do have some storage for that bazooka. You pull that down, and then there is a hole right there that you can just slide this on into to have some storage for that bazooka. That is all of the gimmicks, I believe, and the accessories. Let's get on to the comparisons. Starting off with the comparisons, we have it with the RG, the original one, the first real grade ever released. This kit, it was the first, so obviously they didn't know about the issues with the MS joint. I actually have a really big soft spot for this kit. I love the tri-whites. It uses 3 different whites. I love the different reds and blues it uses. And I honestly kind of like just the look of it just a little bit better. Overall, I still do prefer this one, of course, like so much more. But this design also just really does speak with me. It looks super duper cool. Has the gold on the eyes. And I mean, it has all of that nice, parts separation. I'm honestly kind of afraid to move it. Stuff might start popping out. But it is definitely having issues. Like even right now, standing up, it can barely hold the bazooka. But this kit is just a lot nicer, a lot more fun to build. They both took me about the same time. However, this one was more frustration with the MS joint getting pieces around it. This one was just because I was taking so much time enjoying the build. So completely different reasons. Still do like both these kits. You can find the original RG for like 16 bucks at Hobby Lobby. If you are interested, go pick it up for 16 bucks. This thing's definitely worth 16 bucks, even with all of its flaws. But these are just so cool to look next to each other. How much they've improved is just crazy on the real grades. Next up, we have the Origin Gundam. This one I like more. However, the Origin was, like, in my opinion, the best 144th RX-78 you can find out there until this one released. This one will probably replace it in my main collection. I don't know what I'll do with this one yet. I'll probably just display it along with my extra and kind of disappointing Gundam on the bottom of one of my shelves. It's just, this is really, really good. Very good. This is just a lot better. I mean, this kit has, like, changed my whole view on Gundams. They're a little bit unfair to compare, of course, and I still do like this one. Like, I'm definitely going to be getting some of those recolors. I have the rollout recolor, but I definitely want the Castfall recolor as well. So maybe that way it can live on my collection, but I just will have to find something to do with this original one. All right, we're going to do some much more quicker comparisons. We have the real grade Exia, the high grade Revive of the Zaku 2, the gun cannon from Kukuran Doan's Island. These two look extremely cool together. The HG gun cannon, high grade Gundam EX, the high grade Goof Revive, the high grade Gion, the high grade Jim. For some general comparisons, we have it with a Lego minifigure. Then we have it with a deluxe transformer. We have Reactivate Bumblebee. RIP that game. Oh my goodness. A standard 6-inch action figure. We have the Clone Trooper, the 501st Phase 1. And then a Black Sharpie. I cannot recommend this kit enough. It is amazing, spectacular. Any positive word I can say cannot describe this kit. I know some, like, earlier releases had issues with the head. Mine had no issues with the head at all. It is a fantastic kit. 100% would recommend it. Even if you're not the biggest fan of real grades, it's not anything like any of the previous real grades I've built with those old MS joints. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you have a good rest of your day.